Heyo, what up? Fireborn here, and today we are just taking a look at the newly updated releases for Season 2 and the information they've given us ahead of Season 2 for its February 15th launch. We're going to kind of go over these things that they're announcing that they're changing for Season 2. They look like they're attempting to basically hype the season, so hopefully all these changes come to be useful. I'm going to go over the pros and cons of each of these little sections, and we're going to hope that this is for the best. This is going to cover primarily just the Battle Royale. If you want to check out Westy, who is most likely going to cover all the DMZ stuff, I would recommend checking him out. He is youtube.com/Westy, and he'll have pretty much all the DMZ stuff you need there. Also, people like Geeky Pastimes and He Is Z will also probably have this information for you, so check out those channels as well. There's some buddies of mine. So let's go ahead and get into it. The Gulag. The Gulag is coming back as a 1v1, which means you're no longer dealing with the occasional random disconnect or just bad teammate, but it's going to no longer have the, I guess, dynamics that the 2v2 had. This is going to be very similar to Warzone 1 Gulag. There is no more jailer. You'll see it says the domination style flag control point in the middle. So basically we're back to Warzone 1's Gulag. You're going to see a massive amount of me saying back to Warzone 1 because a lot of the changes are pretty much reverting the style of the game back to Warzone 1. So realistically, you know, it's going to be a lot of flashback stuff. It says that they updated the pools to assault rifles, SMGs, LMGs, and other primary weapons as the circle progresses, and shotguns have been removed from the rotation while handguns remain as unavailable as a secondary weapon. For those leaving the arena victorious, the Gulag will grant a larger cash reward to players. This change to cash will allow redeploying players to get back on their feet a bit faster. So apparently we were getting money when we won the Gulag, and now we're going to get more of it. In order to bring this change on sooner, we have edited the existing Season 1 Gulag for better 1v1 combat, but are actively working on a dedicated 1v1 map for future seasons. So basically the Gulag's going to be the same, but it's going to be altered, and then we're looking at future ones in the other seasons. Cash economy. They have changed the way that the Gulag and all the additional cash options are working. Increasing the lowest cash value on the ground to 800 from registers to 500, previously 100. So that means everything we do is going to be quite a bit more money. In addition to this, cash can be acquired via ground loot, containers, white stronghold boxes, and throughout Al Mazrah, but can no longer be found in basic and legendary supply boxes. This is going to be a bit hit and miss now again, because you are removing this from everything and then leaving it for just specific things: ground loot, containers, and white stronghold supply boxes, which means no longer any of the boxes will give you money. And when they removed money from the boxes in Warzone 1, we saw a large shift in being able to find money. And I imagine basically if you find money, you'll have a ton, and if you can't find these specific ground loot items, you'll have none. So I foresee some issues with this, but hopefully just the more abundance of money means we'll be able to actually play the game and spend less time attempting to just regame teammates while we can't get a hold of any of it. Loot and inventory. Announced last week they're shifting away from windows, menus, and bags. So all the loot is going back to the AKA loot vomit style from Warzone 1. And so with the Warzone 1 loot vomit, you're basically, every time you remove a player from the game, all their stuff goes, yay, like a piñata. On the positive note, that means you're no longer going to get caught in menus attempting to store, move, and adjust weapons and stuff like that. On the downside, they are removing backpacks. So with no longer having the backpack, you are no longer going to be able to extend the amount of stuff you can carry, which means you'll also no longer probably be able to carry the 3 weapons, and it means you only have 2, which is going to make each of your weapon choices a little bit more important than they were previously. If you could get even a medium backpack from Stronghold, you had the ability to run an AR SMG sniper or a launcher or whatever made you happy. Now you'll no longer have that, and you'll be forced into a 2-weapon agency, again, like Warzone 1. And with no more medium or large backpacks, that means there will no longer be more than roughly around 15 items that any player can carry. I believe it's a 10 total. You get 5 slots in your backpack, and then the 10 random slots throughout your character. So 15 items, which means a full squad wipe is now only 60 items on the ground, and 60 items in the ground in a small hallway. The con for all this will be loot vomit again is very hard to sort through in tight areas, and with Al Mazrah featuring a ton of tight, close quarter sections, especially inside these buildings, imagine you're going to be losing a lot of loot, not only in piles, but losing loot into the wall and into other non-clippable surfaces. And accidentally picking up the wrong weapon will drop your ammo, as it already does. So that means that there is frequently going to be moments where you will now drop your ammo every time you loot a gun that you didn't mean to, leaving you for the chance of not having what you need. This change also, though, on the positive side, reduces the number of self-reses and airstrikes that people can hoard. So no more 17 self-reses for a team and 42 airstrikes. So good side, less spammable airstrikes and self-reses. On the downside, you are now running into completely unmanageable loot on the floor and carrying less variety for your character. Loadouts. Loadouts are a core part of Warzone's Battle Royale. Yes, we know that. Season 2 will introduce customizable perk packages with a reduced perk pool, which means most likely, if I'm a guessing man, Bird's Eye will not be allowed to be used in the customizable perk packages. With that being said, there will probably be a lot of very nice builds that you'll be able to make with this. I think that perks are they're a bit underwhelming half the time, as I most of the time just choose to buy my weapons rather than the extra money for the loadouts. But a good perk pool can really make or break your situation for a fight. So as long as the perks are manageable, they will be good. And with the price of loadout markers being reduced, the amount of money that we are finding being increased, and there being a first or a second loadout drop event added in the 1st and 5th circles. So there will be 2 loadout drops every match. Cheaper loadout prices, lootable loadout markers, again, that you'll be able to find in the areas. More people are going to have their loadouts. More people are going to have their weapons, which means meta choices are going to be even more important than they were before, as the more people that come across their weapons, the more you are required to need to have yours if you are on par with the players around you, because then a weapon choice can tend to make or break a fight. 3-plate vests are the only thing we have now. There is no more 2-plate vest. Perfect. At no point in this am I going to say that that's a bad thing. I think that there should have never been a varied thing to begin with. It was one of my biggest complaints about Blackout, was that the 1, 2, 3 plate vest system made fights unreadable, and it was just not fun. So we're all going to 3 plates like Warzone 1. This one I have no qualms with at all. Movement. We have made an important tweak to movement that should yield better outcomes for players in combat. Starting with Season 2, players will be able to bust through doors while plating in the way they would if they were sprinting. This change includes a slight increase in movement while plating to enable players to get cover faster in moments of need. This will come down to specifically the amount of slight increase to movement speed. Too slight and they basically didn't do anything. Too much and we have zoomable people. At no point do I think that this is a bad thing either. I don't see a con to this at all. And I think that if anything, I would rather them overtune this than undertune this, as this is going to be a make or break for a lot of players. The movement in the game by itself is already very slow, and the inability to get out of gunfights when you need to is dire. So I think that, again, both these huge pluses. Buy stations. In order to make buy stations and their goods easier to access, we revamped our approach. Spawn locations have been added and adjusted. Spawns will be static across the map. Spawns will be static across the map is a great thing to hear. And loadout drop markers are unlimited. That's not really as much of an issue right now, because most people don't want to spend all that money when they can just grab a stronghold. They can just grab a loadout drop. They can just go buy their weapons. But with the reduced price on loadout drop markers, this may come into an actual use. We'll always continue to monitor global balance of the economy, availability of resources as we move forward. Cool. Strongholds provide an alternate gameplay experience with high payoff for those willing to tackle the objective, and for others interested in robbing players of their rewards. We're committed to providing a balanced engagement for players who choose to enter strongholds. In Season 2, we'll bring changes to the rewards players receive for the strongholds and black site completion, as well as an additional adjustment to AI combatant damage. I hope this is brought down. Honestly, the AI is harder than most of the players I will ever fight in my day. Not because that they have specifically better shot, which, I mean, the AI has better accuracy than I do, And you can take that how you want. And then, but the big thing is the AI. They just sponge bullets, man. You get to like a black site, and they're wearing that tier 3 armor, where they can take an entire magazine and just not go down, and that's insane. Noticeable things that are missing from this list that could still come with Warzone 2 Season 2 launch. Usually happens the day of or the day before, which is more patch notes. We're looking for weapon balance. We have not seen anything about that. I would love to see some adjustments. We'll see how that works. This can cover things from the RPK and Finnick being meta all the way up into whether or not snipers should one-shot headshot in this economy. Is there something they're going to do to adjust the way that ADS speeds and sprint to fire speeds and general movement speeds? There's a lot of things right here that we don't have any information for. So out of the information that we have been given, honestly, the only thing that I can see right here is specifically where they've basically told us that outside of strongholds, we are reverting everything back to Warzone 1. I do not see a single part of this that screams innovation for what they are doing. Most of this looks like backtracking. So for those of you who have been out here complaining about the way that Warzone 2 plays and wishes it was more like Warzone 1, here's your chance. This is mostly them saying, hey guys, we hear you, we did it wrong, and now here's Warzone 1 again. Again, take that as you will. A lot of the changes here I am okay with. Some of these changes I kind of wish they would have went in the other direction, but I'm just here to play a game, have a good time, so I'm just going to take whatever they give me and find the way to excel at it. I would love to hear what you have to think about all of these changes. Is there any of them that you love? Is there any of them that you hate? And overall, I would love to hear what you want out of the Season 2 coming to us February 15th. So by the time you see this, it'll be like 20 days, 19 days, something like that. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching the video. If you enjoy this kind of stuff or you enjoy weapon breakdowns, that is, I am your man. I am here weekly with these kind of updates. When these kind of updates pop out, I like to make a video on them just because I think it's important to kind of give a rundown on this and kind of get a good grasp of what's going on for the game. And then we do our weapon builds currently once a week on the channel. I go over some very underutilized, extremely good weapons on the channel and hopefully help you get outside of that meta mentality and learn how to enjoy the game on your own time. But thank you all so much for checking this. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a sub, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, peace.